Nationalism. It's a term you'll definitely run into while studying history. But what exactly is it? Nationalism is the strong belief that citizens should devote loyalty to their nation-state over any other interest. In addition, people of a shared language, history, and culture should be one independent state free of any foreign rule. Over centuries, this powerful ideology gave rise to countless of nationalist movements. And a good example is in Hong Kong. When China lost the First Opium War, the city was meant to be ceded forever to Britain in 1842. However, in 1984, leaders of both countries signed the Sino-British Joint Declaration, and according to this agreement, Hong Kong would only be given a 99-year lease to Britain. Therefore, on 1997, the handover took place, where the transfer of sovereignty over Hong Kong from the United Kingdom to the People's Republic of China became official. The event went pretty smoothly, so what's going on now? Despite being part of China, Hong Kong still keeps its liberal capitalist system from its former British colony era, while mainland China practices a conservative communist system. That's thanks to the one country, two systems principle, allowing Hong Kong to exercise high degree autonomy. Today, with its own money, passport, immigration channels, and legal system, Hong Kong isn't quite a part of China, but with Chinese flags flying above government buildings and Beijing deciding who runs Hong Kong, it also isn't that independent. Nevertheless, Hong Kongers has long resisted being considered as Chinese. Nationalism rose to the surface as the stark cultural and political differences between the city and mainland China provoked increasing disunity, specifically as it became obvious how Hong Kong's political freedom and progress towards democracy has always been hampered by Beijing's authoritarian government. The past few years exploded in dispute, particularly the 2014 Umbrella Movement. This type of nationalist movement is separation because of Hong Kong's yearn for independence from China. You've probably heard of the Umbrella Movement, but what's the story behind it? Hong Kong's leader, the chief executive, is elected by an election committee criticized for pro-Beijing interests and leaving no room for citizen input. When called for an electoral reform in 2014, China's standing committee came up with a so-called improved election process that to Hong Kongers was as restrictive and heavily censored as the old one. This enraged quite a lot of Hong Kongers, especially the youth. So September 22 started with two student movements, the Hong Kong Federation of Students led by Alex Chow and Scholarism by Joshua Wong. These were pro-democracy activists who rallied for the universal right to vote, the resignation of pro-China Chief Executive C.Y. Leung, and a change in the Standing Committee's decision. On September 28, as protesters marched towards central government offices, police began trying to drive out efforts using tear gas and pepper spray against unarmed protesters. This bad move fed even more fuel to the riots as even ordinary citizens joined. What's special is that their main method of protection against the attacks were umbrellas, hence it became known as the Umbrella Movement. More than 100,000 people took to the streets at the height of the protest. On October 3rd, the movement took a violent turn as everyone who were against the cause started attacking protesters. As the police took heavier measures, violence grew devastating and support for the revolution only continued to swell. Only in December, when court orders demanded participants to return their occupied spaces, did the movement come to an end. Looking back 3 years later, its three student protest leaders Joshua Wong, Alex Chow, and Nathan Law were arrested, Beijing never agreed to another electoral reform, Hong Kong's chief executive did not resign, and the 2017 election process saw no change. Because the goals of the Umbrella Movement were not met, it can be seen as a failure. However, according to Joshua Wong and Benny Tai, what they did achieve was a political awareness among the youth of Hong Kong. From here, we can conclude that the nationalism in Hong Kong is an ongoing one, and from what we have seen, we can predict that it will continue to do so passionately thanks to the city's more politically engaged younger generation and their ever-growing sense of nationalism.